Hey everyone, my name is Nathan, I'm one of the developers of Yeeps, and we just launched one of the biggest and most highly requested updates ever.
Oh my god, this is actually so big.
That's right, it's the Desert Biome update. If you didn't know, back before the game was even in alpha, we had a few prototype environments that we used for testing different lighting and color palettes. Nothing was set in stone at the time, but people noticed it from our old videos, and suddenly it went from a random experiment we did to an absolute must, with massive support pouring in from pretty much everywhere. And with the new freeform world layout in 2.0, we felt that now we could finally do that update justice. But how do we even make updates like this? What does it take to build a biome from scratch? Well, I wanted to share a peek behind the scenes, from the art to the music to the new features, and show you what it's like when our team is at full strength. Well, kind of. More on that later. As with pretty much all of our updates, we start by checking the suggestions in our Discord. We already knew that the desert biome had a lot of well-made suggestions backing it, and we'd been taking notes for quite some time. But since this was such an important update, we also made a bonus survey to see if there were any ideas that we missed or things that people were holding in. We knew we couldn't add everything, but it gave us a chance to see what people wanted first. Once we had our list and we talked through what was possible in the time period, it was time to grind. The first major suggestion we wanted to jump on was fire, and we wanted to make sure it had lots of depth. Loaf took the lead on this one. He started by thinking through all the fun ways you could start a fire. Matches, lighters, bombs, flamethrowers, and after thinking it through, he decided to add, well, all of them. Then he made it so that fire could spread to other blocks, and since this is Yeeps, we made sure it worked with wiring using the fire sense, so you could have fire-based contraptions or fire alarm systems. Plus, for good measure, he turned the fire extinguisher into a mini jetpack. That was a nice touch. Then of course we had minecarts and rails, which Jack took the lead on. I was especially excited for these because I love roller coasters. And now not only could you build those, complete with loop-de-loops, but it surprised me when he showed that you could just put rails on walls and ceilings to ride fully sideways or even upside down. And with stuffed rails, you could build coasters on any map, including this awesome one I saw from our build team. And speaking of building, we have to give a huge thanks to our 2.0 build teams and to Yeepsvr Sleep. Thanks to them, we got 4 maps all in a single update, which is way more than usual. But how do they build the maps if the new blocks don't exist yet? Well, it takes a lot of pre-planning. If you look at their early drafts, the trick is that we have them use other blocks as placeholders. They use coral instead of cacti, river blocks instead of quicksand, wires instead of rails, and so on. Then a couple days before lab, we go in and swap out all the blocks, and add in any new blocks that we didn't expect. On the art side of things, there's a lot more to handle. For anything that looks kinda cool, we have a round of concepts first. Then we'll all vote together on which ones we think will fit the best in-game. Then the bulk of the work is in 3D modeling, between gadgets, new decorations, mobs, and of course, cosmetics. The cosmetics were especially cool because they let us explore some desert ideas outside the Wild West. Then all the while, we're also working on the key art, though we have to wait for the bundle to be decided first, so it's a pretty tight schedule. Now you might be wondering, Nathan, you said you were a developer for Yeeps, but did you even help at all? Well, I was actually not around for most of the dev time, which is normally not the case. Still, I did get to help a little bit. While I was on a random bus, I got to set up the revolver, though without any art, I had to make it with this diamond-shaped chamber. Not my best work. I also made it a personal mission to take on team item restrictors, which was... yeah, it was a bit harder than I expected. Up until like the last few days, there was a good chance that it didn't even get added, since it tore up so much of the old code, but I managed to pull it together last second. Once I was back home though, there was no time to rest, because I needed to add a new song, and we had 24 hours to make it happen. Fortunately, I'd been brainstorming already, so I already knew that I had to find a way to mix that classic cowboy standoff with the feeling of a high-speed minecart chase. It was kind of a struggle to make them both fit, and that's on top of making sure to fit in a banjo. Last but not least, I didn't do any of the sounds this time. That was all thanks to our secret sound guy. Each of the sounds has to go through a lot of revisions, with the revolver in particular taking a lot of tracks. So yeah, that's just a little peek of what goes into these sorts of updates. It's always a huge effort from all of us, but it was absolutely worth it to finally share it with you all. The desert biome has been something we've been looking forward to in secret for a long time, and we're so glad that you've been having a blast with it so far.
Hey, are you trying to steal a banana? Hey, you need to pay for that. Tell it to the judge.
By the way, don't forget that we added streak restoring this update, and it's still free for a few more days, so if you're wondering when to hop in and check this all out, now's the time. Now this month we're still busy because we're cooking up some crazy stuff for October. I have no idea what y'all are gonna think of it, so fingers crossed. See you October 2nd.